It's the last podcast of the year. Hope you have had a wonderful year filled with gaming and whatever else you like to do. Being passionate gamers or gamers without time, we all know that you're looking for the next big thing. So, as a middle-aged gamer, you are paying less. So, here are some of the things to keep on your radar in the coming year.
I didn't really want it to go into
I
this
can
one
go
simply
again if
because
you don't want to.
no, it's okay. I wanted to talk about Monster Hunter Rise. It's because I kind of like the Monster Hunter series. I did a lot on World before, and Rise technically is not a new game because it was a Switch game released March 2021 or something. Sorry, I didn't took notes on this one. I didn't do my homework. Anyway, this is not a new game. It's just like the PC release will be in a couple of weeks. I think it's mid-January. And well, of course, compared to the Switch, you're gonna have much better graphics. But so I can't talk too much about this game in particular, but I can tell you about Monster Hunter in general. If you don't know the world, it's so you can see, if you're not on the podcast, you can see the little trailer. The whole point is usually you are part of a research expedition researching dragon, and you can do that by either killing them or capturing them. And for this, your characters have 14, I think, different roles, which are split by weapons. You can have crossbow, you can have double sword. Usually, they are kind of fantasy weapons, which are how do you say transformable. Like you can have a thing like it's the axe, which transform into a big sword, or you have a bagpipe. Of course, you can hand dragon with a bagpipe. I love that weapon. What you will have, of course, you will have different dragons, but the most iconic dragons like the Diablo, or I can't remember really the name of the other iconic dragons, but you have your base dragon, which will always be there, and you have some different specific ones for this version. I heard, and I saw it was like a 94, 95% good critics on Rise, so it's gonna be great. The point of the game, you kill dragons, you take pieces of their tails or horns and stuff, and build your own armor. And the whole game is about having better and better and better and better armor, and that's how you level up. Basically, having a better armor to counter every type of dragons, to counter fire or acid or frost or whatever. That's the whole fun of this game. I I can't appreciate this game fully, at least for World, because I use, as you know, I'm not a big multiplayer fan. I usually play solo, and these games are typically made to have fun with four people. And even at the end of World, I had to tag with other people because I couldn't solo the last dragons. Just I'm not that good, so don't make fun of me. But I had to have two or three other people to finally get rid of him. It's more enjoyable with other people. Although the solo part is great. They have a small story behind it, which is always enjoyable. But the story is not the point of this game. The point of this game is hunting dragons. Yay! So that's all I can tell you about Monster Hunter, and I don't know. I'm sure it's gonna be great.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I totally. I think, like, I was just talking about this with my friend Hans yesterday, and we're talking about like what games would be better on a Switch, and I feel like the Switch experience was actually pretty good for that tiny 7-inch screen. Of course, if you have the OLED version, but of course, 4K on from what I've seen of the visuals of this, I think this is not a huge leap, unless you're playing like on a really big TV and you have your PC next to it to power out all those textures and all the other extra effects that I can't remember right now, anti-aliasing 8x and FXAA, all that stuff. But I think it's cool, and you explained it well. I think most people are familiar with Monster Hunter right now. I think, given that all the magazine advertising and stuff that you see on buses here in Taiwan, Sorry, what are you gonna say, Adam?
I was gonna say, Monster Hunter is like my quintessential everything I hate in gaming. Because I really like the game. I played the original. Uh, I played the first one on the PS2, and I really loved it. And then it went to the DS, and then it went to the PS4, and then it went to the Switch. And I hate when you have a franchise that platform jumps, because I feel like if you're a fan of the franchise and you really want to get into it, and they're constantly like, oh, now it's exclusive to this. Oh, no, wait, now it's exclusive to this. And it's just like, I have to own everything just to be, if you're a fan of it. And for me, that's really irritating. I really like the gameplay. And I mean, Monster Hunter is one of those really big games where, I mean, every now and then you get a game that becomes an archetype. We have roguelikes because of the game Rogue. We have Metroidvanias because of Castlevania and Metroid. And you have Monster Hunter clones because of Monster Hunter. So, I mean, this is a game that really created its own genre in a way. And even today, certain games like... trying to think of another big one that's come out recently, but in some ways... Soul Sacrifice. I don't know how many people know Soul Sacrifice or Freedom Wars. Those games on the Vita or whatnot. Or God Eater. They're referred to as Monster Hunter clones. So I mean, this game is obviously huge, and it's a huge franchise for Capcom. But I'm like, oh come on, like why would you release Monster Hunter World on the PS4 and the Xbox, and then not on the Switch, and then you put Rise on the Switch, but not on the PS4 and the Xbox? And it's like, come on, guys, just release everything for everybody. Stop with this exclusivity.
I think there's also a Monster Hunter Stories as well, which is
yeah.
specific.
And all the monsters are cute and you're friendly, and it's a completely different kind of game. But when they went from the original PS2, and then they went to the mobile, that irritated me, because I was like, no, I want to play Monster Hunter 2, but I can't because it's on NDS, and then Monster Hunter 3, or Monster Hunter Tri, and then they had a bunch of other ones. And then when it came back to PlayStation, I was like, oh yay, finally, we're getting Monster Hunter back. And then it's like, nope, bye. It's like
exactly like Valkyria Chronicle.
Exactly like Valkyria Chronicles, which also drives me nuts. I hate when that happens.
Just to conclude the Monster Hunter, unless you have other question, but just to say that if you have not seen the story, by Paul W. Anderson, the movie on cinema, please don't. It's a catastrophe. So avoid yourself some pain and do not see this movie, except if you want to laugh with friends and you have a lot of beers in already.
I don't think we have time for your second game.
We have time, or we don't have time?
I think we do have time.
Oh, we do.
Depends. Do you have news?
No, I do not. It's Christmas, and not much is happening in the gaming world because everybody's off, and with the exception of apparently Square Enix is in a lot because Final Fantasy 16 has been delayed, and Final Fantasy Remake is not doing well on PC. It's got a bunch of issues. But other than that,
what about some quick 1-minute anticipations for next year? Like just a quick sell on something.